I love the first two. I think they're great. The last one that just came on theaters right now, it's out right now. It's actually a lot of fun. I think the first one's, I mean, I might be controversial saying this. I think the first one's still better, but this one's still a lot of
I don't
fun.
think that's controversial at all. I think that's the most common opinion.
True.
I mean, I just feel like it just had, because the way it worked out in this new one was it didn't have that team dynamic that they had in the first one that worked so well, the oddball team. And they set it up, spoiler alert, they set up for the third one for that team to come back. So this was just like a transitional type thing. And it still had a lot of heart. It felt great. I mean, it was fun. Phil Lord and Chris Miller got this right. They didn't get, Star Wars right when they did Han Solo, but they got this right. They got this right because they did do the Han Solo movie and then they got fired. And
my controversial opinion is that I like Solo, a Star Wars story.
I liked it too, but that's the whole thing though, Rachel, because we talked about it before about how it was like two different directors and it changed, it warped, and they want to make apparently Han Solo Jim Carrey before, that's what they were saying, but then they changed it again when Ron Howard came. That's a whole thing.
Jim Carrey's not fuckable enough to be Han Solo.
I mean, they were trying to make him
absolutely cannot be he cannot be Han Solo.
But Beyond the Spider-Verse is coming, and we're talking about that, right? And Beyond the Spider-Verse, they're saying they're going to focus on Gwen Stacy some more, and they're going to have much more variants of Gwen.
Like 5 minutes ago,
they're going to have a lot. They're going to have a lot of variants apparently in this one. That's what they're saying. That's what Phil Lord and Chris Miller were saying. They're going to have a bunch of variations, and one they're really excited about. One version's going to be great when it comes out, and on top of that, they're like, I mean, like it's the end of the whole franchise, so. Hopefully it's great. It's going to end his and Miles or her and Miles' thing. And there's also some controversy on top of Across the Spider-Verse. And that's what I want to bring up today because I'm just like, this shit drives me nuts sometimes. That the fact that like people get mad in different countries about like certain little things in movies. Like in this alone, Gwen Stacy, she's in her bedroom talking to her dad. Oh my God, life sucks. You know what I mean? She's having a moment. And just like, if you look at the picture, like way in the top of the corner, all it says is protect trans life. That's it. Mm-hmm. All it says. You know what I mean? And apparently it's canceled now because of that. And it's like, and like, it's insane. Like some countries are not playing it. Like
it's not canceled. They still haven't said whether they're gonna let it play or not.
It's not gonna play. It's not gonna play. Oh, they could. It's easy to edit out. You could.
Exactly. That's the thing.
It's like every first gay Disney character, they'll just edit it out.
Well, Buzz Lightyear they stopped too when Buzz Lightyear came out because there was a two people kissing that were the same.
Was a big old lesbian.
Yeah, and they were kissing, and so they were like, "We're not gonna let this happen." Lesbian. It's just sad because it is a good movie still, so the people there should deserve the chance to watch it. I don't know how much controversy that causes. Like I barely noticed that when I was watching the movie.
The first one did quite well in that demographic or in that country's demographic. Like they made, I think, 13 million like for the first Into the Spider-Verse in United Arab Emirates. Excuse me. So I feel like it will be a blow to the film's production, also.
I think so too. Like, I mean, they could make some good money, right? Spring. Do you think this is a bad thing that they're doing this? So, do you think they should just like? They just let it air, right?
I think it's a bad thing. I mean, I think it's a bad thing when you try to censor anything like that. Like, it's not like you're censoring something like a swastika. Like it's fucking equal rights for human beings. Like, there's no reason to ever censor that, to ever get upset about that, to ever feel like that's something that you should shield from your people. That's something that you should celebrate. That's something that you should teach. That's something that you should preach. Like, I don't understand in any way, shape, or form how this seems okay to anyone. But at the same time, they have a history of doing things like this. China also has a history of censoring films more for militant reasons as opposed to these.
And Marvel suffers a lot on that too.
Yeah, Marvel, because they have military advisors for all of their fucking films.
Always suffers from it.
But there's like, and it's a huge, and not that I give a fuck about money because I'm not making any of it. But like it is,
it's affect their box office overall.
Oh, it does. That's my point. Like, so the fact that they knew that was a possibility and that it was gonna affect their box office, and they still put it in there, I say kudos to you. I say fucking thank you. They also
made it so small that it could be edited out very easily. Like I said, every Disney film that has 2 seconds of an allusion to a gay character, so they can edit it out for foreign release.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're right, Rachel. Like, what's the point of it then? You know what I mean? Like, they know it's gonna
make it overt, because like among the queer community, there's been a lot of conversations about that wink and about the fact that Gwen Stacy's father has like a trans rights pin or whatever on his suit, and what cop would have a trans rights anything if it wasn't their own kid that was trans? So there's like
there is a whole thing about her possibly being trans. That people are saying
within the gay community and the trans community, there's a lot of allusion to the fact that she might be trans that people wouldn't pick up on if they weren't part of those communities. And I think that if they're going to go that route, they need to make it overt. They need to make it in your face. They need to make it a fundamental part of the story so that it can't be edited out. And if they're not willing to die on that hill, then they just need to. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating as part of the community to be so marginalized that they'll give us a little wink so they get our money, but they won't commit to it enough that they can't edit us out. So it's incredibly frustrating. Like, it's nice to have the representation. It means a lot. The trans community has been so excited to have that representation, but to have that representation so easily pulled is just, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, the point is, like, it's good it's there, but it's also like, you're right. Like, if you blinked, you would have missed that in the movie. You would have missed it, you know? Like, honestly,
I didn't notice it until after the fact.
I noticed it, but I'm like, I'm very like looking at everything, especially these movies too, because there's so much of it's like a visual, like thunderstruck explosion in my face, and I'm just like, I'm looking at everything, I'm like this, and I'm like, oh, and it was there and gone so fast.
Just commit to it. And even Disney. I went to the gay Disney event on Tuesday. My mom, I joked with her that it would be homophobic for her not to take me, so she bought me a ticket.
Mom's
an ally.
Love that.
Friend of the show.
Love an ally.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. My mom, Cheryl.
Cheryl, friend of the show.
Cheryl, friend of the show. But they're doing that event only in California. They don't have the balls to do it in Florida, where gay rights are actually being challenged.
But they are sticking their foot in Ron DeSantis' ass,
which
Florida.
I love.
So
I love that they're sticking the foot up Ron DeSantis'
exactly
ass.
What BSP is saying. It's a step in the right direction.
It is
on both accounts.
I would just like them to commit a little bit more. I would like them to say, hey, if you're going to edit this out, you can't show our movie. You don't get Spider-Man if you're going to edit it out.
Yeah. I mean, and you want Spider-Man. You want Spider-Man. Especially these. They're so good.
These big corporations have to put pressure, or people are just going to continue to try to erase us, especially right now with everything going on.
The problem is like in other countries, you know, like United Arab Emirates, excuse me, or like, you know, Qatar, who is hosting the World Cup situation, where like literally if you walked into the stadium with anything that had anything to do with Pride, like you would immediately be detained. You know, like that one reporter
they would execute my ass immediately.
Yeah, they're like, bye, Felicia, like you're fucking done.
Right.
Like, so in a situation like that, I mean, I don't think it's really gonna. The fact that they're watching it and they're like, oh, is this cool to watch? And they're like, oh, that tiny poster in the corner.
No, but how do you increase public pressure? If the rest of the country's mad that they can't have Spider-Man because there's gay shit in it, they're going to start to push against their government and say, hey, that's not cool. Give us fucking Spider-Man.
I don't think there's enough people there that are ballsy enough and because with good reason to be like, I cannot rise up against my government. I'm going to wind up fucking dead or in jail. So like for us as an outsider to come in and do that, I think is like, if it would help, I'm all for it. But I just think it would hurt. Like,
it's about incremental change.
But they're also, so like that tiny little poster, maybe they thought they could have snuck by, but those fuckers found it.
It might have been one of those things too. You're right. They might have been we can sneak it in there, be fine.
It's just a shitty situation. Like you can't there's not enough like support, and maybe there is, but there's not enough like visual vocal support that can do anything. And these people are living in fear of their fucking lives.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
So even
in our own country, with the way that
100%
people are being treated, we're living with fear in our lives. I can't go to the state of Florida anymore.
Not like that. But yes,
it's getting close.
I agree. I agree with you.
We're edging towards it every day because Florida passed those laws that
but
any
also
sexual crime can be execution now. and they're considering
Wait, what?
drag shows as something that is a sexual crime against children. So they're putting the bricks in place to execute drag queens and
Wait, I'm sorry.
trans people and gay people.
I'm gonna need you to back up for a second for me.
Everything.
I don't understand. I'm sorry. I know I've been drinking, so I'm sorry. But
happy Friday, everybody.
When you say execute, like I don't.
They have instituted the death penalty for what they consider to be sex crimes against minors, which is something that most people, when you hear that, you're like, all right, that makes sense. But what they're considering to be sex crimes now are
drag queens reading
drag queens
stories,
publicly being queer, kissing. If I kissed my girlfriend in public, they could consider that a sex crime against a minor if a child,
because a minor might see it.
Yes, so
That's
insane. They could, with the way their laws are structured, try to give me the death penalty for kissing my girlfriend in public.
That's fucking a lot.
Florida is dangerous for queer people right now, and it's spreading. And it's hard to live in this country right now. And I'm sorry to take a Spider-Man conversation and divert it this far, but
that's
we were diving into the Spider.
We're talking about other countries, so
how it's there. That's what we're talking about. It's how it's there. It's there right there. That's the reason of this conversation too. That will never happen. GR says hopefully not. But that's why I'd say
that's what people thought in the 30s in Germany, because before the Nazi occupation, Germany was the most progressive place in the entire world for gays and trans people. And they were doing research and all sorts of really good work on sexuality. And all of that was burned by the Nazis. There were books banned, like Florida's doing. There were laws changed, like Florida's doing. Genocide doesn't happen overnight. It's incremental.
Florida's banning books as type to bring tie-in.
Yeah.
It's banning books on systemic racism or any history regarding fucking
whenever
truth of what this country is.
The progression generally goes queers, disabled people, other minorities. Like because they go for the smallest groups first. And where the gay population is at only about 5% of the country, that's a really easy target to bully.
That's it?
Well, I tell you, Rachel, here's what it comes down to. Everyone's fucking worried right now about, this. Yeah. It's like between the gay community, that's a huge thing. It's like they're worried about themselves and what's going to happen because like people freak out and do shit. There's like shootings between like what happens in schools, and people fucking worry about that. Like just going to fucking school. Between the way the world is going right now, people are so divided and we're so fucked up right now. It doesn't make any sense to me. At a time where it's 2023.
What does it matter to anybody who I'm fucking?
We're all worrying, but at a time where all we want to do is fucking live and enjoy our lives personally, and not everybody restricted because it's America. We always said, "Fucking America." I can be whoever I want to be. I can live my life. I can do what I want to do. I'm allowed all the equal rights. That's what we want.
Well, that's the America we grew up in, and it's regressing.
Overall. And that's what people fucking fought for us to be able to be free and do what we want to do and be who we are. And when that doesn't happen, it's very fucking unfortunate. And it's really sad that we're fucking scared right now, that people are scared. They should never be scared in fucking America. America is supposed to be the home of the brave. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be the fucking home.
There's a teacher that's on the board, like in the process of losing her job because she played that Strange New World Disney movie. That's what it's called, right, Brian? You know,
Strange World.
Strange World.
It's going too far. It's going too far.
Strange New World is the Star
art.
The Star
Everything's
Trek
art
thing.
that goes on this. This is all art. When we talk about things as art, it's art. Art is very subjective. It's very interpretive. It's interpretive. People say that shit about that movie. Okay. People say that about that movie, but it's just art. It's art.
Well, yes, and there is age-appropriate art. That's like a GPG movie, so it's not even like something that's, if they had showed Aladdin, it would have been fine, and that has the same rating.
It's just a movie who happens to have a gay son and an interracial marriage. Like, get the fuck over yourself. I don't care what you are, who you are, where you came from. You are welcome. And you are welcome to be a friend. You are welcome to be a lover. You are welcome to be a person.
Who the fuck wants America?
Yeah. Mind your fucking business.